Welcome to Blended, a podcast by me, Living Whole with Sarah Davis, your board-certified holistic health practitioner and creator. This is where I combine my ideas of essentialism, health and wellness, and creatives into an integrative, insightful whole. My whole life is your whole guide to health. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the very first podcast. I can't believe it. This is Blended, where I take my ideas of essentialism. You guys heard the intro. But this episode specifically is going to be the why, my pursuit and practice of essentialism, and kind of my story on why I've decided to start this podcast. So right now, I'm just filmed a YouTube video talking about the evolution of living whole and what I hope to achieve and where exactly this is going. And I have found myself at a crossroads, especially after binge watching Matt D'Avella's content, which was spectacular. And it spoke to my soul in a way of, I knew I'd been craving this, but I hadn't seen anybody really approaching social media this way. And there is a huge part of me that was kind of fearful of heading down this road. And just having my social entrepreneurship that I have embarked on since December when I left Stanford and I opened up my business, there have been ups and downs. And so today we're going to talk about why for me to create, connect, and collaborate with thought leaders, friends, and social change makers is so huge in the direction to living whole. So on my website, livingwholesarahdavis.com, you guys will always find health and wellness. You will find recipe development, and you will find everything plant-based nutrition. That is not going to change. What I am doing is hoping to complement everything that I'm providing people to increase their lifestyle. So this goes back to the whole 6 dimensions of wellness and what we're doing to fulfill ourselves at the end of the day. So the health and wellness component, whether it's nutrition, self-care practices, all of those things, I've really made it a pillar within my website, but I'm missing something. I'm missing this cultivation of communication, connection, and thought. And so for me, in looking at what I've been doing with my business and business building and this entrepreneurial spirit, what am I actually doing? And being at this crossroads, there are a lot of questions. You know, how do I do what I want to do, but not be overwhelmed or not be kind of overtaken with the volume of work in order to meet, the amount of people that I want to impact at the end of the day. And so really, guys, I have found myself overloaded with clients, which is spectacular. It's a wonderful problem to have, which means I need to increase my pricing because I can't continue to do the amount of work that I do. And so I am just at a crossroads. Gosh, that word even is hard for me right now because it's hard to say I need a new direction. And the new direction isn't forsaking living whole. It's actually complementing and elevating. And so I'm really excited about this. I'm embarking on this whole podcast journey. I am going to talk about my travel all across the United States, as well as the transition and the struggles that come with coming back home. And so right now, I am sitting here staring at my laptop, trying to figure out, this whole podcasting. How am I going to make this work? What is this going to look like for living whole? And I am very excited, but I'm very nervous as well. So I hope you guys will stick along with this new content, and it's going to be quite the change, but I'm excited. So with this shift, I decided back in November through the first of the year, and I think I made the formal announcement that YouTube was going to become my primary platform and kind of shift away from Facebook and Instagram. And I hardly even use Twitter. I just never really kind of gravitated towards that. but I have found myself really disengaged with Instagram, and that used to be my primary platform. And it's almost so superficial. It's super simple to just double tap an image and like it and move on and scroll. And it's like it's almost like the Tinder of connections for content. It's like just scroll and swipe. I've never used Tinder, so I'm just using that swipe reference as like a very ignorant reference, but it seems so superficial. And so I want to talk more about ideas and to speak more eloquently and kind of foster this sense of not only critical thinking, but what are we doing? What are we doing? And I did a social media detox probably the week or two before spring break, and I felt so much better. How many of you out there kind of feel that way too? It's like you find yourself just numbly scrolling, and my brain just doesn't feel like Sarah. And so that is another big reason why I'm making this shift, but also I want to talk about ideas and to connect with people and just have more in the world than a superficial like or heart this or a superficial comment with an emoji because you like an image. It just seems small. And I will continue to develop my website with courses and guides and all the recipes that I offer you guys. But this conversation will be an extension of the ideas and the thoughts of living whole, whether it's essentialism kind of intent with life, or it's health and wellness and recipes and plant-based. It's everything. And so, that is why it's called blended. It's a little bit of everything. So it keeps me open to pursue the things that as a creator, I enjoy. I lost sight of that with looking towards Instagram as a creative outlet. It just has become, like I said, superficial. And so I'm looking to bigger things, and I'm excited to have you guys along with me. So in binge watching and listening to Matt D'Avella's content, I stumbled upon one of his own podcast show / just straight podcast, and it's episode 102, Becoming an Essentialist. And this episode, he interviews Greg McKeown. He's the author of a New York Times bestseller, Essentialism, The Disciplined Pursuit of Less. And when you think about essentialism and his definition of this pursuit of less, this is actually basically the art of doing but better and more efficiently, which I gravitate towards all the way. Efficiency, perfectionism, anything down that alley is both a wonderful thing for me and also can be a very negative thing. So I'm hoping that with this journey and kind of the art of doing more but less, which is the myth of success and why small, consistent steps far outweigh the alternative. And when we think about what's going on in our culture with Gary Vaynerchuk, which he's been kind of re-educating people on his intent and meaning, but we have this hustle culture, which for me, I am all about hard work, and I will bang out tasks and get the stuff done. And I tend to burn the candle at both ends. That's a saying my parents love to use, but I'm so guilty of this. So the art of doing more but better, the art of doing less, this essentialism, it's really stripping away the unimportant or the inefficient and taking a look at why our lives are so centered around this hustle. We are hyper connected with social media and just really spinning our wheels. So how do we accomplish our tasks, and how do we become successful without going through this? I have to only get 3 or 4 hours of sleep. I have to work all day long, like 14-hour days, which when you think about living whole and everything in that I stand for health and wellness, self-care, your 6 dimensions of true wellness, how do we optimize that? And so this idea, this philosophy fits amazingly. And not just, it fits because it fits my motives and I can rationalize it, but this is a beacon and a way to true health. And so I'm all on board. And that is where, as the evolution of living whole, as I cultivate this podcast Blended, it's taking this idea of doing things more deliberately. And I'm really excited about it. So that is where Blended stems from. And we all need to take a step back and look at the why and the intent of what we're doing. But not only that, are we doing things so habitually busy? Just that word, busy. Are we busy, busy, busy? We're not great. We're not doing well. We're constantly busy. And so if you ask anybody these days, how are you doing? Oh, I'm good, but I'm busy. I am so guilty of this. And so I want to refine my vernacular to where when I'm asked, how are you doing? Oh, I'm doing great. I've got this project I'm working on. I'm able to spend time with my family, with my husband. I'm able to do the things that bring me joy. And I don't feel guilty for not grinding, for constantly keeping on this 24/7 mentality. And for me, that guilt, that shame for not getting enough done within the day is so normal. And so I want to shed that. And I know there's a lot of people out there that feel the same way, because when I talk about my planner, I keep an old school planner. It's black. I think it's like a moleskin or whatever this is. I have it right here. So yes, old school planner here. And one of the things that I do in this every day, counting my accomplishments. And so it allows me to shift my perspective from, what do I have left on my to-do list? It's too much, to what did I actually complete today? Was it realistic? Was it, fitting for the day? And some days when I say, was it fitting for the day? Some days you just have to write that you made it through the day and you didn't punch anybody in the throat. I'm not violent, but seriously, you guys know exactly what I mean by that. And so in wrapping up this conversation with essentialism and the podcast, my podcast Blended, I am super excited about this. And it also takes me back to me being authentically me. And that is connecting with people and talking with them on an organic level. It's not, and bear with me, I found myself in my YouTube videos having to be like, hello, my living whole friends. And that is not me. This feels more me. Now, are there times where I'm excited and, super hyper? Absolutely. Guilty as charged. Over caffeinated? Probably. But I was feeling like I had to put on this facade of I'm a YouTuber. Well, I can be a YouTuber and I can be a podcaster and just talk with you guys. And I don't want to say take it down a notch, but take it down a notch to where it's real, but it's not rushed, or I'm not just throwing up a video in order to get it out. And I'm using the rationale of, this is real life. I was busy for shit content. And I hold myself to a higher level than that. And so I may or may not delete a couple videos as I create more content, but I want to create things that bring worth. And my perfectionism, good and bad thing, but my level, my standards, my level of excellence, I need to create things of worth and things of quality and value in order to be happy. And uploading daily vlogs with shifty content without any intent or purpose or engagement, or this creating a conversation through them or thought, I can't. Everybody I've seen, here's me going to the grocery store and doing this and doing that. I've seen all those videos and it's just so redundant. So tossing out the redundance, so tossing out the trash per se. Not all YouTube videos are trash, but this is the direction that Living Whole will be taking. My post, my social media use will probably be very decreased. However, you'll find a whole new outlook and evolution of content on YouTube as well as here on the Blended podcast. And I am just so excited to kind of embark on this. It feels right in my gut. And I knew that when I was feeling lackluster and just dreading turning on the camera or dreading putting out content, I knew something had to shift, and Matt D'Avella's content came into my life at just the right time because I was honestly, guys, I was losing a little bit of hope, and now it was kind of a beacon to not light the way because I don't want to be doing exactly what he's doing, but I want to be doing Sarah Davis and living whole, and that is going to be one hell of a ride. And I'm so glad you guys are coming along. And if you just stumble upon this content or you come into the game late, I welcome you. I'm just so glad to have like-minded people around. And so I will catch you guys in the next one. Thank you for being a part of the Living Whole community. I strive to keep my content ad-free. So by simply liking, commenting, or sharing, you guys make a huge impact, and I cannot thank you enough. I can't wait to hear your continued thoughts and conversations in the comments. For more Living Whole content, please check out livingwholesarahdavis.com, and I am on most all of the socials, but I can't wait to hear from you guys. So thank you, thank you, thank you.